Fallout has a cannibal problem. The perk sucks. Look, I know the actual problem should be, eating people, bad, whatever. What I care about is the fact that across every single entry which Cannibal appears, it is a bad choice to take, and there are always better perks. Before I get fully into it, let's quickly go over what Cannibal does, for those of you who are not aware. You eat a dead body, and you restore some health. That's the effect that it always gives regardless of the game. Typically you're getting 25 hit points for the body that you eat, and you can only eat dead bodies once. There are then additional effects, and these depend on which game you're playing. You could lose karma, you could gain radiation, you could restore hunger, you could turn NPCs hostile. Pretty much all the added effects are bad. There's a couple of minor good effects you could get alongside it, but generally, all secondary effects from this perk are just stuff that will screw you over in some way. Now primarily this is a role-playing perk, and I think that's a good thing. I want there to be more role-playing perks inside of Fallout, ones that really make your character feel different and make you play differently. I love them. But a role-playing perk doesn't mean it needs to be terrible. You can have role-playing perks which are also good. They don't need to be these mutually exclusive things where it changes how you play, but also has to suck. The big issue here is that eating dead bodies just isn't a good way to heal up. Food and stim packs are almost always better to use. You can store them in your inventory so you've always got them, you can hotkey them for quick use in combat, and most of the time they're going to heal you a lot more than what eating a dead body will do. Food, especially if it's cooked, tends to come with additional benefits like extra carry weight or boost to special stats, or sometimes even a flat damage boost, which is amazing. And stim packs are typically weightless, so you can carry as many of them as needed without them taking up room in your inventory. So those are kind of things that you might be like, oh, well, Cannibal means you can just eat when there and you don't have to use inventory weight, but stim packs are already weightless. And food, which does have weight, gives you additional benefits on top of that typically. On top of this, dead bodies are limited. There aren't an infinite supply of dead bodies. I mean, technically there are with respawning enemies, but it's not like you can just get them whenever, wherever. On top of that, if you're during a battle and you need healing, then eating a dead body isn't going to help you. It's a slow animation and you will get attacked while doing so, which means you're probably going to end up losing more health than you gain from eating. Like, I almost died while getting footage for this video, because in Fallout 4 I was like, okay, let's quickly eat the skull, and oh, I'm getting attacked a whole bunch. Yeah, it's just not a good way to heal up in a danger situation, and after a fight, yes, you can use it to heal up, but you could also just use a stim pack. Additionally, in Fallout 3 I noticed that you get the same amount of health from like drinking from an old sink. So it's like if there's an old sink around, which there's quite a few of, you could just drink from that each time, and yes, you do get some rads, but it's infinite, and you don't have to eat people. It's like, yeah, it's not a good way to heal up. The benefit that it provides is just so limited and so restrictive. On top of this, you have to spend a perk point in order to get this. In the later games this might not be such a big deal, but in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas particularly, perks are so limited, so it harms your character a lot to pick up the Cannibal perk. In Fallout 3, you could pick up fast metabolism instead at level 12, which just makes stim packs 20% better, so you have a choice at that point of two healing based perks, one which is just objectively going to be better by making stim packs more efficient. In New Vegas, you only get a perk every other level, so you cannot afford to waste the perk points. Even playing on like the big DLC, everything included max level rank, you only get 25 perks, a maximum of 25, so if you're spending 4% of your perk points on Cannibal, or 8% if you decide to get like, Feral Ghoul Eater? Yeah, if you decide to get a Ghastly Scavenger as well, that's another perk point you'd be spending. It's just like, really not an efficient way to build your character at all. In Fallout 4, perks aren't limited, which is nice, but you still need to spend 3 perk points to max out Cannibal for 50 hit points restored when you eat like a dead super mutant or human. Like, that's not a big benefit, especially for 3 perk points. For fewer perk points you can get constant health regen, or for the same amount you can get health regen during daytime and stamina and endurance and heal rads, and it's just not good. In 76, it's arguably the only game where Cannibal's fine to pick up, because you can swap out perk cards at any points. It's a one-cost endurance perk card that you can just throw in occasionally. Fine. Now, a quick tangent before I get on to the how to improve the perk section of the video, cannibalism is supposed to be viewed as a crime against humanity. That's literally what it's called in some of the games. And when you eat a dead body around people, they should turn hostile or hate you or something bad happen like that. This only happened to me in Fallout 3. In Fallout 3, I ate a dead body and everyone went, "Ah, it's a cannibal," and started attacking me. I expected this to happen in basically every game. Fair enough, not inside of 76, it's multiplayer, I get that it's not going to happen in there. Fine, I wasn't expecting that. However, in Fallout 4, I ate a guy in the middle of Good Neighbor, nobody bats an eye. I killed an 8-trash Ankala, and Codsworth hated it, which was, nice, but that was the only reaction. That was the biggest reaction I could get inside of Fallout 4. And in Fallout New Vegas, I kept reloading the game over and over again and eating people and trying to get some reaction. This scavenger in particular, I ate him in front of several different groups and nobody reacted. Like, I literally dragged his arm over and caressed someone's face with it and still no reaction. I was certain this was a thing in like all of the games where it's like, oh, if the act is witnessed, it is considered a crime against nature, literally says it in the New Vegas one, but only in Fallout 3 did this actually happen. So, I don't know what was going on there. Did multiple of my games bug out? Just, if you've got any ideas, let me know. Now let's move on to how to improve the Cannibal perk and make it actually sort of worthwhile. And Bethesda has attempted this somewhat, I will say. In Fallout 4 and 76, the animation has sped up significantly each time from the 3 New Vegas era, so you're spending less time just devouring the corpse, which is less time where you could get attacked, less time you're playing the game. So I think that's good, although you'll notice in 76 the animation, it looks kind of janky and ridiculous, so that's a bit of a downside. Also, the healing effect has improved. In Fallout 3 you can get a total of 50 hit points if you max out the perk, and in 76 you get 75 hit points. I believe that is healing over time effect instead of just straight up health, but it's good to see that they're at least trying to buff the perk a little bit. It's still not enough, but they're trying something. There's also been attempts to add depth and interest to the perk in other unique sorts of ways. These are NPC dialogue, Dine and Dash, Meet of Champions, and Dark Craving, and I'll go over all of them quite quickly. NPC dialogue is a good idea, but unfortunately there are just so few interactions where you actually get to use the Cannibal perk inside of dialogue. New Vegas has the most interactions with a total of 4. 2 of them are at the Ultra Lux, 1 of them's in the DLC, and another one's with a character you may never meet. They're in Sloan, there's someone who asks you what your favourite meal is. It's super minor. On top of this, only one of those interactions actually does anything meaningful other than just unlock slightly different dialogue, and that is in Beyond the Beef at the Ultra Lux, you can pass a check with Mortimer, which otherwise would require having 60 free speech in order to lie to him and claim you're a cannibal. And if you do that, then you can complete the quest siding with him. So this is cool, but it's the only cannibal faction, and the actual rewards are very minimal for helping this minor faction in such a way. But it's still the best way we see it being used in dialogue. It's like, cool, I can be a cannibal, side with this person, complete one quest, that is it. Like, the reputation with this faction doesn't matter as well, because they're such a minor one, it's not much. And it's the best example we've got of it being used in dialogue. New Vegas did really try with the Cannibal perk though, because we also have a special challenge perk called Dine and Dash, which after eating 25 corpses, you gain human remains, or have the option to gain human remains from dead bodies. Human remains are an item with a weight of 1, and they heal 2 hit points per second for 5 seconds. That's the standard. If you max out survival, it's 6 hit points per second for 5 seconds. So at best it's an item which weighs 1 and restores 30 hit points, which is not a good consumable item. You can take it with you, and I do like this idea, because one of the problems was, dead bodies, you can only use them while they're there, you can use them once, you can't carry them with you, so you can't use them easily. Like, this gives you something to hotkey and use on the go, but it's really not worth taking the time to pick up the tiny little healing item from every dead body you come across, unless you're doing it for role-playing or like a challenge run purpose. Meet of Champions is where the idea got better and worse. Because if you cannibalise Caesar, Mr. House, President Kimball, and the King, 4 big characters, then you gain +1 to Strength, Charisma, Intelligence, and Luck for 60 seconds after you eat a corpse. 60 seconds. How did no one see that was pointless? Like, boost to these special stats could be interesting. But a boost to strength, that's like, oh, okay, I've got a bit more carry weight for 1 minute. 1 minute is nothing, you will run out of that so quickly. The boost to charisma, it's like, you're not going to be passing any charisma checks or bartering if you just ate a corpse less than a minute ago. The intelligence is like, okay, if you eat it and then level up right away, like technically in a fight, if you ate in the middle of a fight, but then you might just die. And the boost to luck, yeah, go gambling. Go gambling, just shoot someone in the casino, eat them, and then gamble. I'm sure that'll go down fine. The duration and conditional nature of this perk makes it worthless, not to mention having to lock yourself into the yes man ending for this, as you eat the leaders of all the other main factions, and the leader of a minor faction. Like, this is such a big, you've got to go all in on this for a benefit that will pretty much never work out for you. The final interesting thing done with Cannibal was inside of Fallout 4 survival mode with Dark Craving. This is an addiction that makes it so food no longer satiates hunger once you've eaten a corpse. So instead of having to eat standard food regularly, you now need to eat a new corpse every 12 hours, or else you go straight to the ravenous effect of hunger and get some big debuffs. I think there's like -8 endurance, so yeah, it's pretty huge debuffs, but it means you don't need to eat regularly. Instead, just infrequently eat a body and you're fine. I actually like this one the best in how it's implemented and the actual use of it, because it does get you to play the game differently. It interacts with the hunger mechanic by ignoring the minor debuffs but giving a real big one to deal with that you have to deal with urgently. However, it still doesn't make the perk good or worthwhile. It's just another role-playing / challenge run sort of thing, and in fact it's one I did. I did a Dark Craving challenge run a fair few years back on the channel now, so I've done it, and it's interesting, but it just makes you play a bit differently and isn't really worthwhile. It's only there if you really seek it out. The solution is to just buff all of these ideas. These are all interesting ideas, and I think if we just buff everything I've talked about, then Cannibal could be a worthwhile perk. So first off, just make the healing better. Maybe you still get the flat instant 25 hit point boost, but add on a 20% heal over time that lasts like 10 seconds. If you add in some percentage based healing along with a flat healing, it means that the perk doesn't scale so badly. Because at level 1, let's say you only have 100 hit points, great, 25 hit points, that's a quarter of your health bar. At level 20 you might have 500 hit points, in which case 25 hit points is almost nothing. But having a percentage added onto it as well, that means it scales a lot better. On top of this, throw in more speech options throughout the games. In future Fallout games, make it so there's not just 1 or 2 super hidden bits of dialogue you unlock with this, but instead throw in a few quests that you can deal with in a unique way, or a faction that reacts to the fact you're a cannibal. I in fact think that Nuka World inside of Fallout 4 would have been a great place for this, as you could really dominate the raider factions being like, yeah, I'm a psychopath, I eat people, and have them fear you a bit. And on the whole, having people fear you, maybe tie in the Terrifying Presence perk from New Vegas. This was one that could make it so certain characters fled from you, with an option you choose in dialogue. This perk was also terrible, just really, really bad, because it was super situational, but if you tie it into Cannibal as just like this secret hidden bonus, then that'd be good. Or even expand upon it and make it so you permanently have like an attack option at the bottom of the dialogue tree or box or whatever, that's like, oh, I'm gonna eat you, and certain enemies will just turn hostile, others will run away from you. It's just a way to instantly and thematically like go into combat with the character, and maybe give you an advantage because you terrify them with the fact that you're drooling and are about to chomp down on them. Dine and Dash could be upgraded, just make the healing item you get from dead bodies stronger, or make it so that the perk makes all meat heal more, something like Carnivore, the Carnivore mutation in 76 does, where all meat you take is just a bit stronger and heals like twice as much or whatever. That could be a way to upgrade it and show that your body's becoming more carnivorous. Fancy perks like Meat of Champions could work if you made the benefit really strong. If you have to eat all the faction leaders, then you better get like a permanent increase to your special stats. It's such a specific thing to do and will hamper you so much in a playthrough, but it should be a big boost to your character that's something actually worth doing, not an effect that will never proc basically. Personally, I'd like to see it be a 7 different unlockable perks based around Cannibal, where each one increases a single special stat if you hunt down and eat a specific character that embodies that stat. Maybe in the next Fallout game there's like some really strong mutant out there that's just all about lifting or whatever, and you eat them, and permanent boost to strength. There's like a detective or something, you eat them, you get a boost to perception. Really fast talking salesman person, you sneak them away, eat them, get a boost to charisma. And that could work. That's a way to kind of adapt Meat of Champions and still get the same sort of benefit, but actually get the benefit for permanent time rather than just a minute. The Dark Craving whole addiction side of things I think is fun and thematic, but maybe Bethesda should take a note from like Vampirism in Skyrim or the Feral Meter in 76, where you get different buffs and debuffs depending on how long it's been since you ate a human corpse. If you ate a corpse recently, then maybe a boost to your overall hit points, but you get lowered charisma as there's something clearly off about you. Maybe if you haven't eaten in a while, you get extra action points but lowered endurance to show that you're kind of weak and frail and desperately need to eat, but the extra action points show how much incentive and feral urgency you've got to chomp down on someone. Kind of a scaling meter like that I think could be interesting, where it's not even like, oh, you have to play in a way that you eat constantly. Maybe some players would want to be low down on the cannibal and be like a starving cannibal, because that will give them specific benefits. Other ones would want to stay topped up, because that's worth it. There's definitely something you could do there. Overall, there are just so many ways this perk could be improved, and to make it so role-playing perks are something actually worth taking, rather than a punishment. I want us to live in a world where Fallout games give us perks that are good, even when they're role-playing focused. It doesn't need to be a perk that you take every single time, but it shouldn't be something that hinders your playthrough by picking it, and should actually be a choice to make rather than something to just ignore. Anyway, that's my little rant about the Cannibal perk inside of Fallout. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you've got any ways you think it could be improved. Also let me know if you're someone who does take the Cannibal perk, because I feel like most players ignore it unless they're doing like a Fiend playthrough or a specific build. Like it's just not very good. But hey, I'm open to hearing what your thoughts are. Feel free to subscribe if you like more stuff like this. It's mostly character builds on here these days, but I like to do the odd video like this. And as always, thanks for watching. Sarge out.